Perfect. Okay, that's fine. So we'll wait for a minute or so, then we'll get started. I don't want to keep everyone today. I'm not sure everyone is, but it's nice weather in the UK, so I'm sure everyone wants to go out and enjoy that while they can. Hello from Argentina. We've got quite a few people from all over the world today. We've got some regular faces who've been here throughout the whole series and some new faces today. Hello, Victor. Okay, so I'm just going to get into it. Just want to start by welcoming everyone to webinar 6, which is sadly the last in this webinar series. I know some of you have been here from the start, and some of you just joining today. I just want to welcome everyone today. I'm Sebastian Simpson, Business Development Manager for VisiLean. We've been doing a 6-part webinar series, which has been over the last couple of months on digitalizing construction. And those of you that have been here will know that in each week we go into a different kind of principle behind it and go into a lot more detail. What's important to understand is not just have the tools to be able to digitalize construction, but you need to have the right processes and people in place as well for it to actually be a success. Hello, Lavin and Kaitan. So sadly, as I said, this is the last of this webinar series, although we are discussing potentially doing a few more webinars. So if there are any topics or anything like that you'd like us to discuss or things you want us to go into a bit more detail, please drop us an email at info@VisiLean.com and we'll try our best to do that. All of the previous webinars are on our website, which is www.VisiLean.com/webinar. And they're also on our YouTube channel. And this webinar will also be recorded and put there as well. I will open it up at the end of the session for you to ask any questions, and I'll invite Dr. Bhargav, our founder, to answer as many questions as we can. So if you have any questions, just please let us know. We've mentioned this in pretty much all the previous webinars. If anyone is working on a health-based related construction project and would require VisiLean, please let us know, and we can offer you 3 months complimentary access and our full support during that time as well. And if you are working on a project and you've been affected by COVID-19 or anything like that, and there's some way we could help you, please just get in touch again at info@VisiLean.com. And we'll try our best to support you the best we can, because everyone is in this together. So we're happy to help us wherever we can. So let's get into session 6, which is progress visualization. So progress reporting at the moment is a very kind of manual process. So progress is updated from the site, and that usually means someone's finished doing a task. They go sit by a desk, send an email, fill out a spreadsheet, make a phone call. It's a very manual and time-consuming process. Then that kind of progress needs to be reported, need to create that report. Then the data needs to be input into the different softwares, different spreadsheets, different PowerPoint presentations, however you want to do it. That can often lead to multiple progress sheets. So progress can be found on different types of spreadsheets, different things like that. They're not always the same up to date, or a lot of the time they could be out of date. Then before you can kind of take that data to a meeting to review it, you need to generate your reports, whether that's PowerPoint, whether that's a different type of report you generate. And only at that point can you actually review that data in a meeting setting. By the time all of that has happened and it's actually got to the setting where you can review it in a meeting, it's most likely out of date. And also you've wasted a lot of time. Planners have been putting in all the data into their kind of softwares that they use, which they could have spent actually time assessing information and using it to evaluate and be proactive rather than reactive. So that's a very manual process. There's a lot of non-value adding activities of manual information and data entry there as well, which can also be cut out. And then some of the the challenges in a bit more detail with the current process. So manual updates. So that's, again, someone finishes a task, he or she has to fill in a form, fill out some paper, update an Excel sheet, send an email, make a phone call. It's a very manual, time-consuming process. Then the planners need to update the plans. Again, that's time they could have been spent doing other things, scheduling works, different things like that, but they're just having to manually input that kind of progress. Then reports need to be prepared, whether that's weekly or monthly, for the stakeholders. Again, that's time consuming, not really what we want our key kind of staff to be doing. Often, once all that information is collated, there is a latency in progress updates. So by the time we've got that information and we're looking at it, the site and construction has shifted so much that that's now probably out of date. And it's not really giving you the information to make informed decisions going forward. The planners are continuously having to input the data coming from progress on site, literally lots of data entry there. And then we've finally got what we call ironing of project progress, where reports need to be created to paint a good picture of progress on a construction project. That, again, is a very manual, time-consuming, non-value-adding activities that should all be a seamless, automatic generated process to only allow you kind of specific value-adding activity and data that you need. What the present challenges all kind of accumulate to is a latency in project progress and inaccurate data. So it's not always up to date. So a digital kind of project progress review system needs kind of three aspects. Visual management is key. Now that could be whether it be models, or it could be color coding for that kind of common language that people understand. By red is stopped, that really powerful visual information that people understand very quickly. You need a common platform. So one single integrated source of truth, they say, basically where everyone in the project's working off the same platform, where they can all access the same information in real time, rather than that kind of stop, fill out an email, send it around, fill out a spreadsheet, save it, send it around. We want to cut out all of that kind of manual, non-value adding time and just focus on getting that information to everyone that needs it in real time without any waste of effort or time. And then you need to kind of provide the tools to have that lean lens. So to really understand what holds value for the stakeholder. So you need to continuously throughout the project understand the value, where the client or each stakeholder finds value, and that needs to be where you need to focus your attentions. You want to use that to reduce kind of waste in terms of time, effort, materials, and maximize value for all the stakeholders. So another quick question. Sorry, I'm bombarding you with all questions this week, but I want to try and get this a bit more kind of everyone involved, a bit more engaging. So are you satisfied with the review offered from these reports? So are you satisfied with the way the information is being presented? Could it be better? Could it be worse? Or yes, I am. Okay, a couple more seconds. Okay, so I'll just share that result for you to see. So it's quite categorically that everyone is not really happy with the way their information in these reports is being generated at the moment. Now that could be because of the time it takes to do them, or just the fact they have to go through loads of different data to find exactly what they're looking for. But if you are doing a digital kind of lean progress review system, that information is a lot easier to use, to understand, and to pass through teams. And you've used a lot less time to generate it. Just close that. Okay, so a digitally lean progress review system has kind of a couple of aspects. And if we just take VisiLean, for example, We've got a mobile app which allows for the reporting from site. So updating status of tasks, updating the progress, you can update the quantities, you can alert to any issues or problems, and you can send information back to the software. Now that's sent to the cloud where everyone in a project can log into that single source of truth, we call it. So that single integrated platform that everyone's involved in. And there, teams can review that data that's been generated automatically from that mobile app. The package managers can get accurate, up-to-date information because it's coming from site. There's a common visualization for all stakeholders. So everyone's logging in, everyone can visualize the project, whether that be with 3D models or whether that be with the last planner system or just by even the color codes of the status of the tasks. Everyone knows if something's red, it's probably going to be a warning or a stoppage or something like that. And all of that information coming from that mobile app and from people on site updating that work is generating automated reports and data to allow you to make informed decisions, to be proactive rather than reactive. And what we've spoke about every webinar so far is important to continuously improve. So never rest on what we've done well. Can we make that better? Can we streamline that? Can we cut out that waste here or minimize that effort over there? And all in all, keeping in mind what's the value for each stakeholder. Okay, so if you can have all that information automated, all that data collected, you can use it to really maximize value for each stakeholder. We've got a question. Keaton, we're just going to do questions at the end, so I'll come back to that at the end. Okay, so with VisiLean, there's a few ways you can visualize progress. So we've got our Gantt view for that very top-down approach of planning, where you can see baselines versus actual versus planned. Then we've got the bottom-up last planner system with our scheduler, where it becomes a lens of just seeing exactly what's being executed in a certain time frame. So just by looking at that, I can see the task, who it's sitting with, and the status. Then we've got our dashboard, which is allowing you to, at a glance, Keaton, I'm going to have to come back. There's another question from you. I'm going to have to do questions at the end, but we'll come back to those points, but I'll get to them. So the dashboard allows you to visualize any sort of delayed tasks, any issues that may be raising on site, workforce density, things like that. It will generate that data and those reports that you need automatically. So we've cut out all of that manual chasing and generating PowerPoints and Excels. That is all done automatically. As soon as someone on site presses start on a task, that data will be fed straight to that dashboard and it will update all of the reports related to that. And then another way of visualizing progress is through our 4D BIM, so element. So just by looking at the model alongside our scheduler view, you straight away can understand the progress of the project just through the model being color-coded in the same status as the tasks. So just in this tiny example here, I know that part of the project is red, so I can visualize it. I know that part has been stopped because red in our system means stopped. So it's a very visual, powerful way of understanding the progress of a project just by looking at something at a glance. And what this kind of offers you is seamless reporting from site. So that information is generated automatically at a press of a couple of buttons, rather than having to go back to a desk and call people or go to somewhere where it's quiet and get some work done. All you have to do is press a couple of buttons on the mobile app to send that information. Then you've got the ability just to log into the software and review all of that progress, assign tasks, reschedule, anything you want to do. And you've got all of the visual management that everyone in the platform can log into and all be working off that kind of common language where everyone can understand and everyone's getting the most up-to-date information at all times, rather than that kind of, let's get to our meeting, and then by the time we get to that meeting, all the information we've got is probably slightly out of date. VisiLean provides everything in real time, so you can make informed decisions and be proactive. So tracking the project health using performance measures, in VisiLean, we've got the visualization. So that could be the models like we spoke about, or it could just be color codes, or it could be some of the charts and other data we have. We provide you with filtering options, so you can focus your reviews on specific data that you require, instead of wasting time having to kind of manage data you don't really need. We allow you the chance to focus that those reviews of the project, whether that be by employee, by package, by subcontractor, however you want to do it. We can allow you to filter and just have that value-adding data you need, and cut out all the time wasted searching for things that's not really relevant to you. We provide a whole variety of different charts and collect data in different ways that you need. If there's anything specific that we don't actually measure and you want us to, just let us know, and we can try and add that in. But we've got a whole variety of different charts, so hopefully you should be covered there. All of that data and all of those charts allow you that kind of lean lens to continuously improve performance. So what went well, what didn't go well, what can we standardize across the company because it went so well here, what can we take on to the next project? We give you all of that data in a very visual, easy to understand environment to allow you to make those improvements continuously. I touched upon it a second ago, but we provide that kind of performance review. So whether that's for the whole project, or you can filter it by subcontractor, by employee, or by package, we allow you to break down the data to measure in a bit more detail the individual works that are happening on the project. And like I said, all the reporting is live. So as when you're looking at the software, quantities will change, progress will change as you're looking at it. There's no need to do all that manual kind of information input. As people are on site using that mobile app to update their tasks, your software, as you look at it, will be continuously updating it itself and be generating these reports and constantly changing, and it will always be the most up to date as you look at it. Okay, did I miss one there? Checking. No. One last question. I think I forgot to do it earlier anyway. How much is the aspect of visualization offered in your reports? So when you're looking at these reports, are they visual or not? Just a couple more votes. Okay, a few more people still to vote, but I'll just show the results. So pretty much more than half of the group are saying that there's not really much of a visual aspect when they're getting these kind of reports. So what I'm taking from that is there's a lot of data and a lot of things that people need to filter through, whereas if things were a bit more visual, it would be a bit easier to understand and get to the actual data you really need. And you can imagine the benefits of that when you're speaking to clients and some of the stakeholders. If you can make things a bit more visual, a bit more easy to understand, then you're cutting through all that stuff that you don't really need, and just having that, I keep going back to it, value-adding kind of data tasks. Okay, so let's get into a few of the visualization tools with VisiLean that you can use to measure the progress. So this is our Gantt format. So if you've used any sort of kind of planning software, you'll be very familiar with this kind of top-down approach. Tasks on the left-hand side, and progress bars and planned progress are on the right-hand side. Now, how you'd use this to look at kind of progress and understand progress would be all the tasks on the left-hand side are color-coded. So I know straight away all of those purple ones are in progress. Anything green's complete and yellow's unassigned. So I know straight away, just by looking at those, the status of those tasks. Now on the bars on the right-hand side, the blue and the green ones are planned progress. And then the kind of orangey amber line beneath that was the baseline. And the black line underneath that is the actual progress. So I know just by looking at that, the variance between what we planned against the baseline against actually what's happening. And I don't know if you can really see, but in the blue line a bit further down, there's half of it shaded. Now that's showing you the progress in terms of quantities. If you're measuring something specific like kilometers of road or meters cubed of concrete being poured, that will show you the exact progress there. As and when it's being updated from site, that will just continuously change itself. Now, if you want to go into a bit more detail, you can just click on those tasks and you can see the full history of every time anyone updated any progress to that task, or if you need to reassign it, you can do it there. You can see any notes or anything like that. But just by glancing at this screen, straight away, I know what the tasks are. I know the days of the week they're meant to be worked on, and I know what was planned against what's actually happening, and I can see how that compares to the baseline. So it's a really kind of top-down, very high-level way of just understanding the progress of those tasks. But you'll be familiar with that if you use most planning softwares. Then we move into our bottom-up approach, so the last planner system, which we call our scheduler. So this is basically a look-ahead plan. Now, we've got the execution week, which is this week, and then we've got weekly, which is next week, and we've got 3 weeks ahead, which is the look ahead. Then we've got the phase, which is 3 months ahead. Now, if I'm using this to kind of understand progress, I'm looking straight at the screen and I can see 4 purple tasks, which means they're in progress. On the left-hand side, I can see what organization or subcontractor or team they're with, and I can see the person responsible for it. Now, that top purple task, I know that actually that could be delayed. So there's a warning symbol at the end of that, which is telling me that that task could. Now that there's also a red and amber task there, which amber issues that task. Now, again, it's a very visual, easy to understand way. Easy to understand what the progress of that kind of time frame and what's happening in that kind of week or that 3 month period, however. It's a very visual, powerful way of understanding that task is stopped. I can see who it's responsible with, and I can see what day it's meant to be worked on. So it's a very easy way to digest the information of what's happening. And I can click on the task and I can go into a bit more detail as to what's happening there. And then we've got our portfolio view. So if you're managing multiple projects, basically we have this kind of mini dashboard. At a very, very high level, you can see exactly stop tasks, alerted tasks on each of your projects. And what we're working on at the moment, which hopefully won't be too far down the line, is a multi-project dashboard. So we can start to go into a bit more detail as to why these tasks are being stopped. Is it always a materials delay? Do we need to get better at ordering materials, or is it always labor? Can we get better at managing our labor force? So again, that will be hopefully in the next few months or so. But at the moment, we've got this kind of very high-level portfolio view, so you can understand how things are going across multiple projects. And then you can drill down into each of those projects and then get a bit more specific data. So this is our dashboard, which has actually just been updated, I think, today or yesterday. So if some of you are visiting customers already, and you haven't logged in today, your dashboard will probably have changed and look like this. So this is a very, as soon as you log in, this is how you kind of see the data and see the progress. Straight away, I can see the completed tasks, stopped tasks, delayed tasks. Then I can drill down into each of those and see exactly what tasks are stopped, who's responsible for them, and why they've stopped, and any notes and any information. I can also see the percentage plan complete on the bottom left-hand corner. So that's how many tasks in a week we said we were going to complete against what actually happened. All of this, and we've got reasons for stoppages, we've got any sort of constraints log, we've got last week's PPC, and we've got workforce density. Basically with workforce density, that's a measure of how many people you want working in a specific area. With COVID-19 at the moment, there's probably going to be some social distancing measures brought in for the next few months and maybe throughout the next couple of years. So we've got a measure in our software where it allows you to plan your density, and it will alert you if you've got too many people working in the same space and you can't actually actively social distance. Now, all of this data you're seeing here is generated automatically. You can export all of this data and drill down into it as well, into a bit more detail, which we'll come upon. But what we've kind of cut out here is all of that manually inputted data, all of those manually generated reports that take hundreds of hours and man hours across a project. And this is the most up to date and is generating itself all the time. And it allows you to target specific value adding data you need to help you continuously improve the performance. And it's done in a very visual, easy to understand way that you can use that data to go forward. Then you can drill down into reasons for stoppages. So what we do is we keep a log of every task that was ever stopped on a project. What you can see there is the task name, the team or subcontractor that was responsible for it, the location it was going to be based in if you assigned it, what the status is now, and the reasons for the stoppage, and any notes related to that. What you can see at the top is basically a log, and it breaks down into different reasons why we had to stop that task. And then we can use that to start to see if there's any trends. So at the end of the project, if 50% of our stop tasks were labor, do we need to get better at organizing our labor? And we can use that to improve and take on to the next project. And we could do it company-wide, that we need to improve on those kind of different aspects. Again, it's very visual. Just by looking at that pie chart, I know what the kind of main issues are. And then there's a color code, which you will be able to see later. So what we've got here is a PPC drill down. So basically what we're measuring here is how many tasks were completed against what we said we were going to do. So basically that can be done whether it's a breakdown to package, how many tasks that package was meant to do and what they actually did, or by subcontractor or by employee. So it's a measure of how good the plan is. Now, as I was just saying, I don't know if you heard me, basically I use this like as in how I can improve for the next week. So for example, I've just got into running during lockdown, and basically I had a target time for a 5K run. Now every 1K in my ear, I get the time of that last 1 kilometer. So I know if I've done a slow one that I need to pick it up for the next kilometer. So what I do with PPC is if I have a week where the PPC is a little bit lower, then you know next week that PPC needs to be increased to get that project back on track and to become more efficient going forward. Now, what we provide you with is that data to allow you to make those decisions that you know you need to pick it back up. And it's a very visual, easy to understand metric to help you improve performance going forward. And then you can also review progress using our 4D real-time visualization. So what you've got here is the model at the top of the screen and that scheduler view at the bottom, and then linked. So just by looking at that model, I know which parts are complete because they're light green, and which parts are complete, but they've also been quality checked, which are the darker green. That's just at a glance, I've got that information, and I can also see what the project should probably look like at the current stage. Then if I want to look down, I can see the tasks that are being worked on in that time frame. I can see who's responsible for them, and I can see the status just by the color codes. So just by glancing at this screen, I know straight away what the project should look like. I know the status of the tasks that we worked on in the time frame I'm looking at, and I know who's responsible, and I know the status. So this is, again, that very visual, powerful information that we're taking in, and this is all being generated automatically from what's happening on site with the mobile app. And we've cut out all of that kind of manual information that's being input, or having someone to generate a new model based on progress, whereas we can just update it using the mobile app. And it becomes that kind of lens just for looking at what the progress is happening. And then it gives you that information if you do need to reschedule, or you do need to be reactive or proactive, you can reschedule tasks or drag and drop it to another person, or replan any works you have to. But you need that kind of visual information that you can understand quickly and is up to date for you to be able to make those informed decisions. And then lastly, so this is actually my favorite part of it, which is called table view. This is just another way of being able to visualize the information. And it's basically our version of Excel. So what you've got on the left-hand side where it says columns are loads of different data fields you can add to this. But in this example, we've got task name, we've got the person responsible for it, we've got the current status, a location if it's assigned to a location, we've got planned quantity, actual quantity, and percentage complete. Then we've got the days of the week it's due to be worked on, and the colored boxes are the days of the week that it's working on and the status. So this is a way you can configure all the different data you want, and you can filter it to specific data you need. You can set up certain configurations. So every time you log in, that's the configuration of data you look at. But again, this is a very visual, easy to make report that's taken no time. And what I love about this is that as and when work is happening on site and those statuses are changing and those colors should be changing, it changes directly in front of you. So when you look at this document, it's the most up to date and it will literally be changing in front of your eyes, rather than other than Excel, where people are having to manually input that information, send it to you. When you look at it, it's probably out of date. This is live working document that everyone can have access to. It's very visual, it's very easy to generate, and you've cut out all of those man hours of generating reports and inputting data and breaking down data to the actual specific thing you need. What we've done is a very automated delivery service for you to be able to understand and review progress. Just to summarize the session, basically, hopefully everyone can still hear me. With a digital lean progress visualization tool, you've got a seamless flow of information. So that's information is coming from site automatically. There's no manual information delivery there at all. It's in real time and it's accurate and constantly up to date. There's a visualization to be able to understand that data and use it to be able to make informed decisions. That data allows you to be proactive rather than reactive, and then you should be able to use that to minimize waste and maximize value for the stakeholders. Once you're getting kind of progress updates and you're working off a common platform, then you've got that lean progress visualization that you've cut out all of that non-value adding activities and time, and you've only got value adding activities. So sadly, that's the last of our webinar series. Those of you who don't know, my colleague Pamji is the kind of main driving force behind these webinars, and he's the one that's done all the slides, and I just take the glory. But he and I will be sitting down tomorrow and hopefully coming up with a new webinar series. So like I said, if there's anything you want added or a topic or a part of digital construction that you need us to touch upon, please let us know and we will try and do that. I think there will be a kind of COVID-19 related webinar that we'll be doing in the next week or so with some issues that people are facing and some ways that we've tried to help that, and some new features that we've got to kind of minimize the impact of COVID-19. So to summarize what's happened over the last kind of 6 webinars with a digital lean system, basically you've got one single integrated platform where everyone works off, so everyone's getting the same information, so there's no kind of misinformation being passed around. We provide a visual ecosystem, so whether that be through models or through color coding, it's a very visual, easy to understand information. We provide you with that kind of lean lens to enable pool planning and last planner sessions, to enable you to kind of cut out those non-value activities I always go on about. It's designed for value, so being able to understand where value comes from each stakeholder and even the customer. Then you can use that to kind of minimize waste. And we've got live filtered data. So all of our data is you can filter it. You can filter it by person or by organization or by package. So you can really review everything in a very filtered, lean lens. And that is it from me. So has anyone got any questions? I know Ketan does. So I'm going to ask Dr. Bhargav to turn on his mic again and answer a few of your questions.
Yeah, I think the first question was probably, or kind of the point was made alongside your presentation, so it was more of a remark rather than a question.
Okay.
Yeah, but the second one, which was more about CDE, so can we use the CDE for approval of site information to transfer data for approval? Yes, you can. There is a built-in process for approvals built into VisiLean, and you can use the system for that. So the answer is yes.
Okay, and then we've got, is VisiLean integrated with external planning tools? And the answer is yes. So we can import from virtually any planning software, Asta, P6, Excel, MS Project, and many others. And you can just, you can also create a plan from scratch using VisiLean as well, depending on how comfortable you are. And the next one. The visualization is pretty impressive. Can I export my progress, like some of the reports from VisiLean, for submissions to the upper management? The answer again is yes. So you can export back out to those planning softwares you integrated with, we integrated with originally, or you can export to Excel, you can print it off, or you can generate different reports actually using VisiLean. So yes. Can we generate forms to get the data from site to generate data into the dashboard? I'm not sure what you mean there, Ketan. So
you can actually, we have introduced a functionality for custom fields in the system. So you can actually use custom fields to kind of get the data from site to then, which is not already there in the system by default, to generate data for your dashboard. That's potentially, yeah.
Okay. Anyone got any other questions? No, I think that might be it for now. If anyone has any questions, we'll keep the webinar open. Oh, sorry. There is another question. To generate dashboard, can we integrate data from other third-party tools?
Not right now. It's quite kind of the other way around, Ketan. So you can actually use the data generated from our system and export it out to maybe whatever sort of dashboarding tool you're using. So that's possible. But we don't at the moment. I mean, we are not sort of importing data to then generate a dashboard in our system from external sort of third-party tools. Yeah.
Okay. Is individual reporting for each project combined in a single place? Yes. Yep. So yes, it's all on one. You all can log into one basically platform, and then click on the project you're working on, and then all of that data is in that one place. So there's no different add-ons or things like that. It's one integrated solution. Next one. Do you work with BI?
Yeah, you can export the data to BI, and we have APIs, so you can sort of look into that. So you can integrate with something like Power BI.
Okay. Is trial version available before purchasing tool? Yes, it is. If you just contact info@VisiLean.com or james.ellis@VisiLean.com. I think James is in this webinar, so he can put his information in the chat box as well. Is this tool cloud-based or net client version? So it's cloud-based. So you just log into the website, which is VisiLean.com, and you just sign in basically. So you can log into it from anywhere. One thing to bear in mind though is the app is separate from the software. So the app you just download from the Apple Store or Play Store or Android, and that's just for updating the tasks. The software is where you can do all the visualization, all the management, things like that, the planning, tracking. All the presentations are available. So yes, so all of our webinars, or the previous ones, were recorded and they're on our website, which is VisiLean.com, and then you do /webinar, and they're all there. And they're also on our YouTube channel, which is VisiLean, if you just search for VisiLean. Can I implement this tool into my server?
No, so this is basically hosted on our own servers, and we don't host it on third-party servers. So the answer is no.
Okay. Do I need to take a subscription? So yes, so the subscription is based on the project itself, and then you get unlimited licenses for everyone working on that project. If that's something you're interested, I'll get James is in the chat box, so I can get him to speak to you a bit more detail about pricing and things like that. Thank you, Victor. Any more questions? That's it from us. I mean, I'll keep it open just in case anyone has any more, but thank you so much for joining us on this webinar, and hopefully we'll be in touch with the next few days with any more webinars that we'll be doing. And if anyone wants us to speak about anything in particular, please let us know. But it was really enjoyable doing this for the last few months.
Yeah, since it's a concluding sort of last webinar in the series, I would also like to thank thank you, Seb, for great presentations, and Paramjit, fantastic content, and thanks to all the attendees. I think it's been a very sort of informative and very interactive sort of series of sessions, and hope to see you again. Let's see what sort of new topics you guys are coming up with. But thanks, yeah.
Thank you, Martin. I'm glad you picked up a couple of tips there. Glad it wasn't all in vain for us. Thank you, everyone. See you later. Stay safe.